the goal of AnalytiCAL is really to make equity investing simple and usable for everyone. I think in this day and age of so much information, what we want to do is make it simple, make it easy to access, and make sure that everyone has the knowledge and the data at their fingertips so that they can do their own investment research and make their own informed financial decisions. So if I was to get into the details and want to highlight a couple of the key features that we will be having within AnalytiCAL, succinctly to describe it, I think it is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information, and a wealth of data that we have within this that will help you to make informed decisions. So without further ado, I will take you through a couple of the key features, and I think as you use it as well, you'll find that there's a lot more hidden things that you will see that will help you to make better decisions. So to start off with, as soon as you enter the overall CAL online portal, what you'll find is, of course, your dashboard in terms of all the investment options that you have, and within this you have AnalytiCAL. So once you click that over here, I'll just switch into it to dark mode. What you see is the initial dashboard that loads. So this is your landing page. Essentially, it provides you with a very simple snapshot of the markets as it stands today. And it's not just equity markets, but it also provides information in terms of how the exchange rate has been performing, as well as how interest rates are doing. So just to talk you through a couple of the main things that are shown here, of course, the first one here is a stock price graph, and that provides you with the information of the stock that has had the largest trading volumes for the day to start off with. And on your right here, you have information of how the market turnover and the ASPI performance has been over the last month or so. So you can see deeply in terms of specific numbers and how it has really performed in the last month, and you can see it has been on an upward trend in the last month. You also have the basic market statistics for the day, and this provides you again with a very quick snapshot in terms of market performance, where the ASPI and the S&P SL20 stands at, turnover, volume, market cap information, as well as your foreign purchases and sales. So very quickly giving you a summary of the market performance for that day. And of course, the contributors to the ASPI are also available here as well, that you'll see within that portal. It's having a little bit of a technical glitch over there. You also then have information here in terms of how the exchange rate has been moving, and this is live for that particular day. Then you also have your interest rate, how the interest rate movements have been, particularly focusing on 3, 6, and 12-month performance this week as well as the previous week. So this is taken from the auction rates that you have, and if you click this tab over here, you can see that yield curve, and you can see how interest rates have moved compared to the previous week. So you have your information at your fingertips, equity markets, exchange rates, and interest rates as well. And if you go a little bit lower, you have a little bit more information in terms of the equity market performance. So here you have your top gainers and your top losers, top turnover and top volume for that particular day, with of course little mini graphs in terms of how the stock price has performed over the last 6 days. And over here, for that particular day as well, your top 5 stocks in terms of net foreign buying and in terms of net foreign selling there as well, along with your share price information. And just over here, to keep everything very simple and put everything together, is the CAL news roundup, which is circulated every morning with our WhatsApp alerts, and you have it available here on the portal as well. So this is your landing page, your opening dashboard, all the market information that you need right here at your fingertips. To move on into the specific tabs, you can see that we have stocks, market statistics, reports and news, as well as our DIY toolkit that you have here. So if I go into the stocks platform, I will quickly move into it over here. You are provided with information in terms of anything you need if you want to analyze a particular stock. So say for example, you are interested in, say, John Keel's holdings. So you will find their share price information loaded up here, and you have access to various time frames that you can use. So either 1 month data, 6 month data, 1 year data, all of that is available over here. And if you wanted to, you could also decide to compare it with other companies or with the index. So for example, if you were to compare it against how the CSE All Share Index has performed, that would load as well. So you can see its index and you can see how it has performed over time against the overall market performance. And again, if you want to say compare it with another company, let's try Hemas for example. You'll find that performance against John Keells Holdings versus Hemas versus how they have performed against the market. And again, you can switch the time periods as you like. So easy way to kind of compare across the markets, across the different stocks. At the bottom over here, if you're a new investor, you are able to kind of see a snapshot of what exactly are the operations of the company and a brief description of the company. So this platform is not meant to be used just by those who are experienced in the market, but also those who are very newly getting into the market. So you have all the basics here at hand as well. So here you have very quickly some of the key information items. You have your market cap, trading volumes, shares outstanding, and certain valuation information that is available here as well. So very quickly you have a snapshot of what this company is, how it has performed over the recent past. And if I was to move you here to the right hand side, here we have a couple of valuation metrics and technical and relative valuation analytics that you have here. So on the top you have the RSI graph, which is the relative strength index, that basically tells you whether the market is overbought or oversold, or a particular stock is overbought or oversold. So here again you can adjust the time periods as you see fit. And at the bottom here, very important, are valuation ratios. You can see if a stock is overvalued, undervalued, compare it against, for example, the sector PBV. You can see the current PBV is available, the sector PBV is available as well, along with the EPS, dividend yield, price to earnings ratio. All these are available here as well. And you can also just click these drop down menus and you will see the EPS over time. So you can, these are all very useful things that you want to see. As soon as you kind of look at a stock, very easily you can access this information without kind of going through the financials of each and every company. So you have that option available. You can see the net asset value per share moving as well. So all of this information available over here. Another interesting feature to kind of highlight is that, for example, this is as at the financials as at March 2023. But if you wanted to, for example, look at some of these valuation ratios, for example, how did they look in February? You can see that then it updates to the last available financials at that time was December, and this is how the ratio stood at that time. So you can see how it has kind of changed over time as well. And here as well, you have your basic trading statistics after the valuation ratios, your turnover, volumes, and so on, as well as the financial information. So you have your quarterly as well as trailing 12 months revenue, gross profit, EBIT, EBITDA, as well as earnings and how they have performed. So again, you can change the date here, go back in time and see what was the performance like previously. So anything that you need on a particular company, you can easily access and get a really deep look at how that company has been performing. One more point I would like to highlight here is that if you click this heart button, we'll be able to kind of add or remove this stock from your watch list. And what's interesting here is that, for example, if you add this stock to your stock list, it will also move into the use of your CAL Online mobile app as well, and it will add to your watch list over there too. And what's also interesting is that, say for example, you added say TJ Lanka, for example, what it will do is then it will sync the idea that cotton prices are important to understand how TJ Lanka will perform, and so it will provide you with alerts as to how cotton prices are moving, both on the portal as well as on the CAL mobile app. Say for example, you're following Lanka IOC, it will provide you updates in terms of how Brent oil prices have been moving. So you have that correlation in terms of how commodity prices are moving as well. So within the same stock tab, if I was to move, so first we were on that overview tab, now we move into summary financials. And so here you have graphs similar to the graphs that I showed before, but now you have a bit of a better picture in terms of, for example, this is the cash position of John Keells over the last several quarters. Here you also have information in terms of their EBIT margins, for example, how they have performed over the last couple of quarters, and you can compare that against any other margin, for example, that you'd like to see on the right side. Then we move to historical data for the share. So here you have the performance of the share over time. This is much more trading information. You can select the period that you would like over here. So this is just taking the last month. You can see the period average price, period average turnover, volumes, the highs and lows, as well as the beta factor that you can see. You can adjust the dates as you see fit, and what's also interesting is that all this data is downloadable. You click the download button and it will download as a CSV file, and you can use it to manipulate and use the data, create your own charts as you see fit. Then to move on in terms of, so that was in terms of covering the stock section. To move on in terms of the market statistics side, and this is kind of to get an understanding how overall market trends have been. So we have that page loaded over here, and here you can see historical information on the entire market's performance. So you have your volumes, turnover, market cap, dividend yield, the market's PER and PBV, price to book value as well. And again, you can scroll, use it. Any time period that you like, you can load it over here and then download it as well, and you have that information that you can use and manipulate. These are all also, you can filter this based on which variables you want to see in that screen. So if it's too much of data over here, you can just filter and see which ones you really want to take a look at. And a lot of this data is also, you can search it based on moving it high and low. So if you, for example, want to see what was the stock that had the lowest to the highest kind of turnover, that also sorts over there. Moving on to the sector statistics. So this is based on the GICS classification provided by the CSE. Again, very useful when you are looking at comparing companies against how the sector has been performing. So for example, banks are very much a hot topic right now. So if you want to look at, for example, how the banking index has been performing over the last couple of months, you can kind of adjust your time period as you would like over here and see how the overall banking sector has performed. So you can see that the bank's price to book value is currently at 0.6, but if I was to say go back in time for about 6 months or so, what you'd find is that banks are trading at 0.4. So again, very useful when you want to combine, for example, download this data, put it against a banking sector stock and see how that has been performing. You can see whether it has been moving in line, whether it is overvalued or undervalued compared to that particular sector. So all the sectors are available here. You have consumer durables, consumer services, all of this is available based on the GICS classifications. Next, we move into historical share statistics. So here you have basically a snapshot. This is for the last trading day of all the market information for that particular day. So this is all the stocks that are listed in the CSE and the individual indicators for them as well. So here what you want to, if you want to, for example, focus on one particular stock, say we look at Access Engineering, and you select a period over here, you'll be able to find the period's average price, average turnover, volumes, highs and lows as well. And you can kind of scroll as much as you like depending on how you want to use this information. So this is kind of providing an overall snapshot. So we moved into individual stock information. This is the market information. And within the market information, there's also one very useful tab here, which is the valuation ratios tab. So if I was to go into that over here, this actually gets updated based on live market information. So if you're trading throughout the day and the share price is moving, you can click this auto refresh button and it will refresh every 15 to 20 seconds or so. And you will have live information in terms of, for example, what is the trailing 12 months price to earnings ratio, what is the current price to book value based on actual trading information as it is live. So right now the market is of course closed, but you have all of this information available on all the stocks. You have all the valuation ratios that you need. You can check gearing, you can check 10-year highs, 10-year lows, 5-year high, 5-year low. Is your stock trading close to a low or trading close to a high, depending on how you want to invest in it. And again, you also have the option to download all of this information. So once you download it, it downloads as a PDF, and you find a report like this at your hand that you can use in terms of doing your own analysis there as well. So there is no limit in terms of downloading this information. You can also choose to do it by company if you would like to, or you can look at the full market. And I think it's more useful when it is live information to really check the PBV at, where is the PER at as the market is moving. Next, I would like to direct your attention to the reports and news tab. So here, once you click this, you will find all the research reports published by the CAL research team. So you have access to all of them when you sign up into the equity account. And here you have all of our sector reports, company initiation reports, earnings updates, flash notes, and so on. So you can also decide to kind of filter it based on what type of reports you want to see. So say, for example, you want to see the reports from the last, say, year or so. You want to see all the sector reports. You have that here available as well. And you can search it based on different types of reports, different macroeconomic reports, and so on that have been published within the last year or so. So you can decide to share it, where you can email it to yourself, or you can download it, depending on how you would like to use it. Next, moving on to the next tab, which is the DIY Toolkit tab. So when you click this tab, what you will see is, this is actually a very interesting one. So say, for example, you want to check, okay, I want to see a company that has a market cap greater than, say, 50 billion. You apply that filter. It takes a little bit of time to load because it's searching through the entire database. But here now you have all the companies with a market cap of above 50 billion. Say you want to refine that search a little bit more. Say you want all the companies with a market cap over 50 billion with a price to book value that's less than 1. And there you have it. So you have this information that's available. It helps you really narrow down your search items in terms of what you're looking at. So say, for example, you're looking at dividend stocks. Say, clear all filters. I want stocks that have a dividend yield of, say, over 6. You apply that filter, and you will get a list of the stocks that have been having a dividend yield of greater than 6. So it's a useful way of filtering down the specific stocks that you really want to take a look at, without having to do a lot of that information and kind of filtering through yourself. Yeah, so here you go. The next feature that we have within this DIY toolkit is our data library. So if you just click over here, you will be redirected to this page over here. So you have quite a bit of different data items that we collect from, and these are also what we use to generate some of our alerts. So say, for example, I want to search within commodities how, say, Brent has been performing, Brent oil performance over the last month or so. Here I have this graph, and say I want to compare that with how the WTI has been performing. Select commodities, go to WTI, and there you have that information there as well. So here as well you have access to all the data points here as well, so you can kind of use that raw data again in any way you like. So we have information here on all the commodities that you would see, aluminium for example, there's copper, crude oil, there's indices here as well, gold, so on. You also have varied exchange rate information. So for example, if you're looking at comparing, say, the British pound versus how we have performed, say, against the euro, you have that information that's available for you there as well. So all this information is used, and we don't want to just kind of keep it standalone, which is why we want to make sure that everyone's using it. So for example, like I said before, for example, if there's a big change in terms of Brent oil prices and you have Lanka IOC on your watch list, you will get an alert saying, okay, Brent prices have moved 5% or so for today. So it keeps you in the loop in terms of the stocks that you have on your watch list. And the final feature to show you is in terms of the CSE live market data, which is right over here. And when you click it, what you see is, particularly when the market is open and active, you can see all the trades that are taking place during the day, the ones that are top turnover in terms of the overall ASPI as well as the S&P SL20 index. You can click view more to kind of get a full list of all the turnover stocks for that day. I think the market is closed, so it's not really showing right now. But if you wanted to click one of these stocks, it catches your eye. You can click it and it will direct you to the stocks page. So for example, if I clicked NDB over there, it will direct you back into the stocks page and give you information about NDB at that time. So that is to highlight some of the main features within this. I think there's a lot more that you can do with this. So the entire idea is that we empower you to do your own analysis. I think we're in a day and age where everyone has a lot of access to information but not sure how to use it. So what we would want to do going forward, and particularly when you sign up for our portal and for the equity account, is that you will get access to our research recommendations. So you back your own analysis along with our fundamental research and analysis as well. You will also get access to our reports if you would like it on email, and if you'd also like to sign up for our WhatsApp updates to get our daily market news as well as any reports we publish, and also get access to featured events. For example, when we conduct webinars and physical events, inviting industry leaders to come together into a forum to have a chat. Those are interesting discussions to have as well. And going forward, we will continue to kind of develop and would want to focus a lot more on investor education. So we will have a lot more sessions going forward that you will have access to in terms of what are the main things you need to look at if you're looking at picking a stock. What does RSI mean, for example? How do you use price to earnings ratio and price to book value in terms of evaluating whether the stock is doing well or not? Should I buy or should I sell? So we'd want to, we would give you access to a lot of those educational content going forward as well once you sign up for our equity portal with AnalytiCAL. Thank you very much.